Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking something incredibly familiar and uncovering the absolutely fascinating hidden logic behind it. We are going to completely demystify the traffic light controller. It's so easy to just take it for granted as we go about our daily commute, right? But there is this brilliant, highly structured system working constantly behind the scenes just to keep our physical world moving safely.
Picture this for a second. Imagine you're driving home late at night. The streets are completely empty, right? Yet you pull up to an intersection, and the lights change perfectly. They stop non-existent cross traffic and give you the green. So who, or actually scratch that, what is actually directing traffic when the streets are empty? Well, it's not magic. It's an invisible, tireless digital logic running our physical intersections. And today, we're going to look at the exact blueprint of that logic.
So here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with part 1, the traffic light brain. Then we'll examine the 4 states of flow. Next, we'll look under the hood at 3, writing the Verilog code, before moving on to 4, simulating the results, and finally wrapping up with 5, from code to hardware.
Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1, the traffic light brain and its role in physical intersections. Let's establish our real-world baseline.
Think of a standard 4-way intersection with north, south, and west-east lanes. That setup requires a highly coordinated brain to prevent absolute chaos. The traffic light controller is literally this essential component of our modern transportation system. Its entire purpose, its whole reason for existing, is to regulate traffic flow, prevent accidents, and just ensure the safety of pedestrians and drivers alike. It has to know exactly when to let the north-south traffic flow and exactly when to halt them for the west-east traffic. So how exactly does it organize that flow? That brings us to Section 2, 4 states of flow, governing the lights. The entire chaotic reality of a busy intersection is actually distilled into just 4 distinct repeating phases. First, we have the state called NS red, where the north-south signals are red, which obviously means the west-east signals must be green. Then we move into WETRA. That's the transition state where west-east gets the yellow light. Following that is WE-red, which flips the flow entirely, so west-east is now red and north-south gets the green. And finally, NS-TRA, the yellow transition for north-south, before the whole cycle just starts all over again. One direction flows, the other stops, perfectly synchronized.
To execute these 4 phases, the system operates as what we call a finite state machine. And this is an absolutely crucial concept. A finite state machine is simply a system that uses a counter to track elapsed time and then transitions between a set number of defined states. Think of it like an invisible robotic traffic cop standing right in the middle of the intersection. And this cop holds a stopwatch. When the stopwatch hits a very specific limit, the cop blows a whistle, changes the state from green to yellow, resets the stopwatch back to 0, and just starts counting again.
Now for the fun part, Section 3, writing the Verilog code, the language of the lights. Let's look at the real Verilog HDL code used to program this logic in the Xilinx ISE 14.2 software.
It is honestly so fascinating to see how our human logic translates directly into machine language. Right at the top, you can see our 4 parameters defined: NS-red, WE-TRI, WE-red, and NS-TRI. But notice the block of code right below that. It shows the initial state setup. When the system resets, it intentionally forces the state back to NS-red and forces the counter to absolute 0. That counter is the system's internal stopwatch, getting completely ready to begin its relentless ticking. But the whole thing really hinges on one massive hexadecimal value. The code basically says, hey, if the counter equals this exact number, then transition to the next state. And this isn't just random code, right? This is literally how hardware tracks real time. Because it doesn't count in seconds like you and I do, it counts clock cycles. It counts all the way up to this massive value, and only when it hits it perfectly does it trigger the light to change and reset the counter back to 0.
And here's the second half of that Verilog code. This perfectly details the remaining state transitions. As you can see, it moves from WE-red to NS-CHAR. And then, notice at the end, it points right back to NS-red. It is programmed to loop infinitely. Right below that, the code dictates exactly which individual outputs, the actual physical north, south, east, and west wires, get an electrical signal during each state. This single block of text is the exact reason traffic keeps flowing forever without any human intervention.
We've written the rules, but Section 4 is where we prove it, simulating the results and testing the logic.
Before we put this code onto a physical microchip, we need to know for absolute certain that it actually works. To do that, engineers use what's called a test bench program. This provides a virtual clock signal and a reset signal to test the controller's functionality. We're basically contrasting our theoretical written rules with the visual proof of those rules executing over time. We are essentially stress testing that invisible cop's stopwatch. And the results from the iSIM simulator are just fantastic to see. You are literally watching time pass from left to right. See those lines stepping up and stepping down? Those are the high and low states. They correspond exactly to the electrical signals turning the red, yellow, and green lights on and off. When one set of lines drops down, signifying a red light turning off, another set immediately pops up, signifying a green light turning on in the cross street. The math works perfectly. No crashes here. Finally, let's zoom all the way back out to the physical world. In Section 5, from code to hardware, creating the physical blueprint. This generated RTL schematic, which stands for Register Transfer Level, captures that exact transformation perfectly. It highlights how our typed Verilog code has been totally transformed by the software into a complex network of physical logic gates and wires. That central block, labeled traffic light, now contains all the counters, all the state machines, and the logic we just discussed mapped out into an actual physical electrical circuit design. To sum up this amazing synthesis process, the software uses the XST synthesis tool to read our code. It then generates a gate-level netlist, which is basically a giant parts list of microscopic digital components. It maps out the RTL schematic we just looked at, and finally provides a device utilization summary to tell us exactly how much space it's going to take up on a microchip. We've successfully turned a simple text file into a physical blueprint that can actually be manufactured. It is incredible to think that such a rigid mathematical process of counters and hex values is what governs the chaotic flow of thousands of cars every single day. So I want to leave you with this. Next time you're sitting in your car, stuck at a red light on an empty street, don't just get frustrated. Ask yourself, what state is the machine in right now? Is it counting up to that massive hexadecimal value? Because now you know the invisible logic keeping us all safe. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.